Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At forhers.com/4u, you can access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored just for you. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Welcome to Rankin on Bass, an offhanded joke that became a short-lived podcast. I'm your host, Mike White. Joining me is Hermie the Elf, Chris Stashew.
Hi-ho, friends.
Also along for the ride is the cold miser himself, Richard Haddam.
Merry Christmas, you guys. I'm so glad to be spending the holidays with you.
The Digital Holidays with Richard Haddam.
But this is how we're going to spend the holidays together this year. It's either going to be through a phone call or a Skype or a FaceTime or a Zoom. It is about as close as we're going to get. So in my way of seeing things, we are spending the holidays together.
Well, and I talk to you guys more than I talk to my own real family, so...
And if you know Chris's family, it makes a lot of sense.
Right. There's a reason for that.
On this podcast, we are discussing the works of Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass, specifically some of their stop-motion and animated Christmas work. On this episode, we are doing a double feature of Santa, with Santa Claus is Coming to Town from 1970 and The Year Without a Santa Claus from 1974. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, it's an origin story like you would get with, say, like your normal superhero, or I always think of Indiana Jones, especially with the, oh, that's where he got the whip. Oh, that's where he got the scar. This is answering all of those burning questions as we find out that Santa Claus is actually a terrorist who went into hiding, grows a beard, and lives at the North Pole in order to escape from authorities.
The aptly named Burgermeister Meisterburger, played by the, oh my lord, the amazing, right? I mean, he's the star of any of these things that he's in, Mr. Paul Frees. We can't talk enough about Paul Frees, right?
No, that voice is the one you associate because I think his voice is in all of them. He plays something.
Except for the first
one. You hear it, you're like, well, is he not in...
he's not in the original Rudolph.
No. But after that, he's in all of these things, it feels like.
He was even in Rudolph's Shiny New Year. And even Paul Frees could not save Rudolph's Shiny New Year.
Has anyone ever seen him in real life? Did he ever show up? Like, anyone got a physical image of him in your mind that isn't the Meisterburger?
That isn't the Meisterburger? I mean, the Burgermeister character, the voice is so distinct.
Herr Burgermeister, look what was discovered on your front stoop.
What? What, Grinsley? The milk? The daily paper?
No, sir, a baby.
Oh, is that all? A baby?
That voice is that voice, and you can't see it coming out of any other character's mouth.
He looks suspiciously normal.
Oh, he's a voice actor, right?
Yeah. He does have some good eyebrows going on. Like, I thought for sure he would look like a Mel Blanc type character, since he was in that wheelhouse of doing so many different voices. I always pictured him as looking more like Boris Badenov than a normal human being. But no, he has a decent face to him, and he would act in live action stuff. So he would show up in things like, I'm pretty sure he was in like a My Three Sons. So he got around quite a bit. But yeah, that voice was just amazing.
But is his normal voice like that? Like when he just shows up on a TV show, do you immediately go, oh my God, that's that guy? Or is his normal voice? Like, I don't know if I heard Mel Blanc, like when he was on the Mike Douglas show or whatever, he didn't necessarily sound like Bugs Bunny when he was just having a conversation.
No, there are some overtones that you get. I think he would just put a little extra oomph in it. Like, I always associate him with The World's Greatest Sinner, the Timothy Carey film, where he's the narrator and he's kind of the voice of Satan. So we'll just do this kind of, oh, good, Clarence, that's the way to go. And so he just kind of puts a little overemphasis on his voice as opposed to, I am a cartoon character right now.
Okay.
But yeah, you'd be amazed. I'm looking at his filmography right now, and yeah, there's a lot of cartoons in here, but man, oh man, are there a lot of live action things as well. It's pretty remarkable. And he wasn't necessarily, say, like a Frank Welker, where he would do, the voice of the dog or the creepy chair or anything like that. He was mostly doing human voices or, animal voices, those kind of things, but not necessarily just like sounds.
And his human voices, especially even in the specials we're talking about, tended to be somewhat sinister characters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Burgermeister Meisterburger does not like toys.
He sure does not. Though Santa does have the ability to pick out the exact right toy for the exact right people, which is pretty interesting that he knew that the Burgermeister liked yo-yos, and he knows that Jessica, the incredibly hot cartoon character, oh my goodness, that she really liked what she liked. So it's like he's got this innate gift of picking the right toy for the right person.
Am I getting the sense that Mike has a particular kink that he's just revealed?
The Mrs. Claus kink?
Well, but also just like sort of a animagic claymation, I don't know. Is this like is this like a subcategory of fetishes that I never knew about until this very moment?
Well, let me just tell you that no cosplayer of Mrs. Claus is safer on me.
I thought that, Mike, what we're going to do is we're going to try to find a gift for you for Christmas of the Mrs. Claus doll from the film, the original, so that you can...
Does it have 3 holes in it?
Yeah, you can christen it with a white Christmas, if you know what I mean.
Guys, okay, now this is not very
now we're off the rail.
We're talking about children's specials.
But we are adults.
I do like this idea that at first, Kris Kringle, or he just has the name Claus attached to him, that it's almost a retelling of like the Moses story where he's a foundling and he's taken to essentially what's the pharaoh, but then the pharaoh, in this case the burgermeister, is just like, get this kid out of here, I don't need him around. And then he ends up with the animals. I think he's going to become like Mowgli, but then luckily he ends up with the Kringles, this weird family of dwarves, elves, I guess.
Elves, they're technically elves.
They're all elves, and they love to make toys, but they have no output for their toys. The economic model here does not work whatsoever.
No, they're doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. Are they though? Is that where we get? They weren't the first royal toy makers
sure were.
to the king.
They were, yes.
They were, weren't they? Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, they wanted to be restored back to be the first toy makers to the king, because that's that whole song that they sing with
Right.
Tanta
That's
Kringle.
when times were good.
Yes, those were when times were good, yes.
Okay, right.
And it's weird, though, because there's at least one child that we see in here where he goes home to his parents, and the parents look, the father looks like the king. He's got the same glasses and everything that the deposed king has. I'm just like, is he in hiding now, or what happened to the king? Because we never find out why there's a burgermeister now as opposed to the royal lineage that had these toy makers with them.
Right, but instead, the truth is there were just so many puppets they had to work with.
Exactly.
So once you had that base model, you just had to dress it up different.
They're adding the animation in here. We have an animated sequence with Jessica. We have an animated sequence with the first toy makers to the king number. And I like that they're mixing the animagic with the animation. And I have to say that, like, the first toy makers to the king is all told through that storybook conceit. So you get the kangaroo that jumps off of the shelf into the storybook and becomes an animated character there, or becomes an image there. You've got the animation of the king and some other things inside of the book. I like that. And then when you get Jessica doing her song later on, you get an animation there. And as I'm watching that, I'm just like, wow, I can really see that they're using the same animators that they would use for things like The Last Unicorn and The Hobbit and Return of the King, because it's in that exact same style.
But you like it when they mix those styles. See, to me, I always found it unsettling. I was like, no, I'm in the the 3D puppet animation, and then to suddenly be in 2D, and now I don't know where I am. I as a child, it made me feel unsafe.
I liked it when it came to the first Toy Makers to the King number. I'm not sure I liked it in My World's Beginning Today, the Jessica number, because I do like that they're mixing the two in the one, and that it's 2D with the storybook as opposed to, like, we're going to take Jessica and throw her into this animated world. I liked the first number. I didn't really care for when they said, well, it was kind of like when we talked in the last episode when it's like, oh, remember me? I'm Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Here's an animated sequence. It's like, no, we don't need the animated sequence in here. Like, I'll take the animation of the book and the way that Mrs. Kringle holds the book and talks to the book and all those things. I don't necessarily need, like, now we're just going to go into a flashback of this is what the Royal Kingdom was like.
Speaking of that animation style and the one that Rankin and Bass would use, what's funny to me is it is so different in my mind, at least from what I'm perceiving it to be. It is so different than Frosty the Snowman, which only came out a year before this.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week, and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
But it was wildly successful, and they changed it so much.
Why did they not do Frosty the Snowman as the 3D animagic? Is there any reason why they suddenly went full 2D?
That's a really good question, and one that never really made sense for me, because it was just like, I know you guys as this animagic style, why are you switching it up? And I can only think budgetary for that, because, I mean, We'll talk more about this in a few more episodes, I think, but Frosty always looked very cheap to me.
Well, and Frosty would only become an animagic character in Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July. Before that, he's only ever that kind of animated character. But yeah, it's weird because as far as I'm concerned, and like you mentioned, Richard, I'm with you, Mike. I do think that in this film, the animation, the transition to 2D does work. But for me, I always consider Rankin and Bass. I mean, I know Rankin and Bass has done other things. We've already talked about, the Lord of the Rings cartoons that they did and The Last Unicorn, but still know them for the animagic. And I can't kind of divorce them from the animagic because it is such a big part of this.
We talked about Sam the Snowman in the Rudolph story and Red Buttons in the New Year's story. This one has, I can't say two narrators, but you've got Fred Astaire as the postman who's taking letters to Santa, and he's our narrator and will take us through so much. But then you've got Mickey Rooney, who's a huge caliber star, or at least he was at one point, and he's in here playing Kris Kringle, which, you would think he would be the narrator, but he'd be narrating his own story. And then he'll come back. Mickey Rooney will come back, but he's never the narrator. He's always just the voice of Claus. But I thought he did a great job. I like that he can capture the young Kris Kringle as well as the older one, and that his voice changes through it, and that this reminds me when I watched, I'm one of the few people that does not like The Last Crusade, the Indiana Jones film, mostly because of the River Phoenix part. I think the whole movie should have been River Phoenix because they just, within 10 minutes, they explain every single thing that makes Indiana Jones Indiana Jones. Oh, that's where he got the hat. That's where he doesn't like snakes. That's where he got the scar. Oh, that's why he uses a whip. It's like, you stretch that out to 2 hours. You don't need to give me that in 10 minutes. Like, this one adventure makes Indiana Jones who he is. I like that this shows all of those things about Claus, but they all come from more of a natural place. And even though this is a half an hour long or so, it still stretches it out. So it's like, oh, he goes ho, ho, ho because he was imitating the animals. And so, and occasionally you get those kids' voices going, that's why he wears the red suit. And it's like, okay, yeah, I got it, kid. I got it.
I was more disappointed because I honestly forgot that Mickey Rooney did the voice in Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I expected he was going to reprise the Iwai Yunioshi character from Breakfast at Tiffany's to do Santa Claus.
That's the Japanese Santa Claus.
But this is technically made by a Japanese animation company.
Oh.
It sure is. I was just kind of surprised as to why Santa Claus wasn't yelling at Mrs. Go Rightry. So, the thing about Mickey Rooney being in this is it's almost a distraction. Because Mickey Rooney is so good as just an actor that having him in this, he is almost too good for this, if that makes sense.
I think he elevates the project.
I think so too. And I'm not just across the board a giant Mickey Rooney defender.
No.
But this is a tough special because a lot of it just feels like weird remote history in areas and political districts and prefectures of which I know nothing. So it's like, wait, what's going on?
They're literally made up. It's hard to make a story like this and have it make sense when everything is literally made up. First toy makers to the king. What does that even mean?
Right. But that's what's so weird. Like, for some reason, as a child, I was like, oh, there's like a level of documentary reality to this one. We're actually going to be getting the actual history of how the thing that we know as Santa Claus came to be. So, in other words, if I picked up the encyclopedia and looked up, Santa Claus, I'd be getting the same information I'm getting from this claymation special. So that was always the battle in my head. So what I was going to say is the one thing that Mickey Rooney then brings into it is like his voice is so rich with emotion that I always felt safe with this particular Santa Claus, as opposed to the one we talked about in Rudolph, who seemed to have some real personality problems. This guy was like, oh, this is a grown-up I can basically trust. He's on my side.
Yeah, it is a hard left turn from that Santa Claus, right? Like, this is the genial, likable, relatable Santa Claus, not the like, oh, you red-nosed freak. We'll never have a use for you. Like, fucking swallow your words, Santa Claus. Like, I mean, that's what he does in Rudolph. He calls him a freak, pretty much. Like,
right, and then he talks. He's like, Donner, I'm so disappointed that you and your wife squeezed out this monstrosity.
You should have aborted.
You should have let him be afterbirth, wriggling out on the table. Like, Jesus, Santa, what the fuck, man? Like,
you and your wife might consider eating this one.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, it is a stark contrast with the Santas, because not only is this Santa nice, he also doesn't look weird. I mean, the Santa in Rudolph looks weird because it's trying to match the style of everything else. And if you notice with this, this Rankin and Bass 6 years later, these characters actually look more human. The other ones looked like puppets. These characters look more human-esque.
Yeah, this is light years from where we were just 6 years prior.
Oh,
and I will say that we're pretty far removed from Little Drummer Boy. I know we'll talk about that in the next episode, but that was 68, and this is 70, and they had some sort of breakthrough in those 2 years because this looks so good. And this is a rich story, which is pretty incredible that you have so many things going on and it all ties together. And you've got two villains in this. One becomes a protagonist as you go along, the Winter Warlock, sorry.
Winter, please.
You've got all of these different things happening in here, and it just really all holds together, strangely enough. And this could be like, well, this is weird. Why do we have to find out about this, that, and the other thing? But they're telling a story of this is how Santa Claus came to be. The Santa Claus that we know is not historically accurate. Sorry, Richard. But that they can take all of these disparate elements and be like, that's why he's got two names. He's got the Claus name because that's his alias, but he's really, his adoptive family is the Kringles. So that's why people call him Kris Kringle or Santa Claus. Questions that are burning questions when you're 5-6 years old going, why does he have the two names? Why did he do this? How can he get in? What's the story with the stockings, and trying to just play all of those things into the story. It comes together really well.
One disappointment that I had was we don't know why he's the king of Jingling. I mean, he says he is old Kris Kringle. He is the king of Jingling. You need to explain.
It's an honorary title. I think that was like, there was Jingling College, and they really wanted to honor him one year, and they made him the king.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I was expecting in this they were going to explain it, and then you would have those children going, so that's why he's the king of Jingling. A guy could hope. I mean, again,
Yeah.
I will say, though, I mean, again, similarly to Rudolph, this is very well done, and this is good. It's really good. I'm not sure it's as good as A Year Without Santa Claus. I know we haven't talked about it yet, but I don't know if it's as good because of the characters in that one are more memorable.
I will go on record as saying I think I like the songs better in this. I like the Heat Miser and Coal Miser songs that we'll talk about, but things like If You Sit on My Lap Today, The First Toy Makers to the King, with the No Toy Makers to the King from the Burgermeister, and then the Put One Foot in Front of the Other, all of those are really solid songs.
Nothing is as better as It's Gonna Snow Right Here in Dixie. Get out of here. Richard, I can't wait.
Check the one that makes me nauseous. Ugh. But we got to call out Winter Warlock voice actor Keenan Wynn.
Yes.
You and I know him as Detective Siska from Call Shack to Night.
The one who is trying to control his temper through so much of it, trying to get to that Zen place.
Exactly, and here he's doing a twist on that. He's also dealing with the same his dark side.
Yeah, Keenan Wynn is just amazing, and that they got him to be in this, and it's a pretty small, thankless role, but he brings so much to it with that voice.
Well, I think they went to him and said, hey, look, dude, Mickey Rooney and Fred Astaire, all right? Get in here and put your voice on tape.
And mentioning Fred Astaire, there is a spiritual sequel to this that I don't know if we're going to talk about it now, but I think we should talk about it in the future at some point, because I'm actually curious to watch it. They made an Easter Bunny version of this called The Easter Bunny is Coming to Town, featuring, once again, S.D. Kluger, the character played by Fred Astaire, in what would be Fred Astaire's final film role.
We're doing all of these Christmas things right now, and I think that throughout 2021, we should probably get together and be like, okay, it's around Easter time. Let's talk about the Easter Bunny and try to, do Peter Cottontail, do Easter Bunny's Coming to Town, do Peter Cottontail. And then as we go throughout next year, maybe just try to say like, okay, yeah, this ties in with this holiday. I don't think that they have specials for every holiday, but there's definitely some other things that we can talk about.
But do you think there's a song in there called There Will Be No More Egg Makers to the King? Or egg layers to the king?
I have always wondered why eggs and rabbits, other than being a sign of fertility, are associated with Easter.
There will be no more egg layers to the king. Okay. All right, Burgermeister.
Nothing would be better than a direct, exact copy of this with just Easter words and iconography jammed into it.
It's like the best, worst fever dream you've ever seen.
I'd give anything. Oh my God. I think it's a great idea. I'm in.
Cool. And it has the song The Easter Bunny's Coming to Town, which I guarantee you none of us have ever heard, but it's a real thing by Fred Astaire, so.
Definitely have not heard that. It is weird how they mix traditional songs with their songs in these. Like Santa Claus is Coming to Town works really well in this. I don't know if Blue Christmas works as well in The Year Without a Santa Claus, though we can definitely talk about that.
Can we talk about that, please?
Yeah.
God damn it. What is an Elvis song doing here?
I know he didn't write the song, but he definitely owns that song. So yeah. So Santa Claus is Coming to Town 1970, Year Without a Santa Claus 1974. That one has Shirley Booth as not necessarily the narrator. She's a narrator and she's a character. She's playing Mrs. Claus in that one. And poor Santa Claus, he's got the worst doctor in the entire world. He's not feeling quite up to par, and he's feeling very apathetic, and his doctor comes in and tells him, nobody celebrates Christmas anymore. Everybody's a bunch of jerks. Just fuck off, Santa, basically is what he says. He's got the worst bedside manner.
He pretty much tells Santa's job is unnecessary in this the year of our Lord.
Were they trying to imply that the doctor was Jewish and was trying to somehow squash Christmas?
It could be.
Therefore, I don't know if there's some weird strain of anti-Semitism, but I think someone could write a college paper.
Well, this wasn't made by Walt Disney, so it's probably not anti-Semitic. I mean, just to point out, Walt Disney, massive anti-Semite, so.
Hey guys, if you thought we were only going to shit on your animated Christmas specials, yeah, we're also going to shit on all of your Walt Disney specials.
Hey, look, I love Walt Disney, but let's not kid ourselves here.
Yeah.
I do like how they brought back Mickey Rooney.
Though it's kind of a thankless role. He disappears through a lot of it. This is not Santa's story, definitely. This is much more, what are these guys, Jingle and Jangle?
Jingle and Jangle, and it's Mrs. Claus. It's Shirley Booth doing her thing. I mean, she pretty clearly does narrate the story, saying, well, haven't you heard about that crazy year, that flibberty-gibberty-bibberty year when there was no... It's like, oh, okay, all right, we get it. You're going to take us through this. And I will say the weird thing about her, she does this whole musical number about I could be Santa Claus. She does her whole thing, and anyone can be Santa Claus if they want to. And it's actually really convincing. And you're like, oh, well, this could be a solution to this entire special. Maybe she could just do it. And then at the very end of the song, she goes, no good? Okay, screw that idea. All right, on to the next. Here we go. And then suddenly we're into the two elves going to...
Back to the drawing board.
It is unfortunate, right? Because there was an opportunity to do something interesting here. Where it was like, okay, I mean, she married Santa, and she lives with him, and she takes care of him. So she could probably do it, because I can't imagine that Santa doesn't talk to her about the things that he has to do on Christmas. So why couldn't she do it? And from the back, they do look the same.
Yeah, they have that same shape.
In Santa Claus is Coming to Town, we get probably the best, most emotional, heartfelt, we get the Santa we want. And then suddenly, in the year without a Santa Claus, it's like, oh, the guy's got a cold. So he's like, screw it. I'm not going this year. It's like, whoa, really? Like, I've gone to work sick. This is kind of an important job.
Right.
And really, the doctor just says two things to him, and he's like, you're right. No one cares about me anymore. Screw it. I'm like, whoa, dude, it's not all about you. Don't sit there feeling sorry for yourself. But, yeah, that was another one left me feeling very insecure as a child.
Then he goes out. He's looking for Jingle and Jangle and Vixen, who happen to take them out on their adventure, and runs across the one kid who's just like, Christmas is for babies. And then it becomes this guy, Iggy, it kind of becomes his story as well. So it's like him learning all of these things. He's our Mary Sue, to put it another way. Also, Santa kind of drops out around that time. It's like,
sure does.
It really is like so much of Jingle and Jangle and Mrs. Claus, and then eventually Iggy comes along for the ride. And then, Santa's just kind of left out in the cold for a long time in this. He should be learning that people really still care about this stuff as well.
Well, the thing about Santa in this is Santa seems to be more obsessed with whether or not people care about him anymore.
Right. He's checking his Twitter feed every day, Googling himself.
That's what it feels like.
Set up.
It's like one bad review of Santa and he shuts down completely. I'm not doing this anymore. One guy said I'm not important anymore. Like, what?
He's like Kanye.
He's just his sensitive ego. It's weird. It is weird going from this Santa to the previous one.
I always thought that Kanye was the king of jingling.
Proclaimed himself the king of jingling. Yes.
Probably did. I will say,
kind of like how Michael Jackson proclaimed himself the king of pop. Kanye's just like, fuck that. I'm the king of jingling.
Jingling. I will say, for the music, though, and I know, Mike, you've kind of mentioned already you like the music in the last one more, the Snow Miser and Heat Miser songs.
Those are gold.
Right. They are so good.
Those are gold. The characters are fantastic. I love that they surround themselves with little copies of themselves. It's just so strange. They are two of however many sons of Mother Nature. Mother Nature around this time had her whole own commercial line, this whole thing of like, you don't use margarine because it's not nice to fool with Mother Nature. These songs, the Heat Miser song and the Snow Miser song, so good. I love the instrumentation, how they change those things around. And we've talked before about how great Dick Shawn is. He is fantastic here as the Snow Miser, and George Irving as the Heat Miser equally can just carry his weight. It is so great.
It's by far the highlight of this entire production. And you remember, it's one of those things that when you're a kid, the first time you hear it, it's just in your soul for the rest of your life.
When those horns start up, and it just is such a great opening, and just that ragtime type piano that's going, and those little ad libs and stuff, like thank you, or those little things in there. It's so great.
Well, and again, I mean, also they're not overused, right? I mean, they're only in about like maybe 10 minutes of time of the episode. So they're also not beating you over the head with the characters, which I appreciate because those characters work in small doses.
Those were characters as a child that scare you just enough. It's like, we know they're kind of the antagonists of this or the nemesis or something, but and I know I don't like them, and they're sort of dangerous, but they're also sort of funny, and they've got the cool song. So I think I can make it through. I mean, again, this is a 7-8-year-old Richie Haddam watching this. They hit that sweet spot of, okay, I am happy they are in this. I don't hate seeing them.
Well, and now as an adult seeing it, the only person I can think of as the real villain of the film is the mayor of Southtown.
What a prick. That guy's such a dick.
It never snows here, and if it don't snow here, we're not having Christmas. See? Like, oh my God, Foghorn, fucking Leghorn, why don't you please and thank you?
All I could think of is, you just wait. You just wait till climate change comes, buddy. You're going to get some fucking snow, you asshole.
The snow's coming, big boy.
I think all those people that I know that live in the South who have just freaked the fuck out. Like, I had a friend who lives in North Carolina, and she was talking about when they got snow down there, and it was like less than an inch, and people were going crazy. You could see photos of like cars on fire. It was just like mass hysteria because there was less than an inch of snow on the ground.
Well, hey, in Southtown, they don't get
People
snow.
are looting.
Looting, yes.
It does make me laugh that there is a song in a children's film that is titled "It'll Snow Right Here in Dixie." In Dixie, yeah. Dixie is just yikes. It hey, whatever. It was 1974, so
people can call the South Dixie if they want, as long as he wasn't waving a Confederate flag. I was all right.
I will say though that as kind of weird as that song is, the thing that we transitioned into talking about A Year Without Santa Claus, I think is more jarring. The fact that there's just Blue Christmas. Because again, like you said, Mike, while it is not a Elvis song, I mean, was written by Billy Hayes and John W. Johnson, I would say it is an Elvis song.
As soon as somebody starts to sing it, I think of Elvis. They use it in just such a maudlin way in this too, where it's just like, there is no Santa Claus coming this year, so you're going to have a Blue Christmas, and then the, again, animated sequence that goes with that. It's like, okay, thanks, just beat me over the head with this.
One child loves Santa so much that she sings a song for him, and Santa is touched by her rendition of Elvis's Blue Christmas.
Did you guys notice the fuck up with Mother Nature? The deal is that the heat miser needs to allow snow to fall in Southtown. And the cold miser needs to allow that it gets warm at the North Pole. And trust me, it'll get warm at the North Pole.
Whether they like it or not.
When Mother Nature says to them, you need to do this and you need to do that, she addresses the wrong people. She tells Cold Miser that it needs to snow in Southtown, and she tells Heat Miser that it needs to get warm at, however she's saying it is the wrong way. I rewatched it again yesterday, and I was just like, she's addressing the wrong people. She's saying the wrong things to the wrong people. Like, she's addresses them strangely.
So it's in the dialogue. It's not her turning to the wrong character, as it were.
She turns incorrectly.
Now you let a little snow fall in Southland, and you allow just one nice spring day at the North Pole. All you have to do is compromise.
That is weird. I don't think I've ever noticed that. Now I'm gonna have to go downstairs and watch this damn.
I think for me, the other reason, I mean, kind of missteps regarding continuity aside, the thing that I really, I do like the music in this. I like the characters, but, I was saying that this one might come a little farther ahead than, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I think I might actually walk that back and say Santa Claus is Coming to Town is better, because for me, it feels like a more cohesive story. This one is very muddled, right? I mean, it's like, well, you got to make it snow. Well, how do you make it snow? You got to go do this and this. And if we can't do that, and if they don't want to play ball, then we go talk to Mother Nature. But also there's, they got to save Jingle and Jangle have to save Vixen from the dog pound. It's like, Jesus Christ, how many cooks in the kitchen are there? And then even when it does snow, they still have to make Santa, and they still have to send Santa a bunch of presents. Like, what?
This is the Adam's Ribs of Christmas specials. This is that episode of MASH where it's like trying to get the ribs. You got to pay this guy and you got to trade this to get that. And just all of those different deals that have to go on in order for them to get the ribs delivered to the 4077.
Right. And people have to cross long distances flying on individual reindeer who are then mistaken for dogs? Like, I'll get that I get that in Southtown, maybe they've never seen a reindeer, but to then just automatically assume it must be a kind of a dog.
But they had seen deer. They had seen deer.
You would hope.
Right. So that part always bothered me, that it's like, wait, what? It's in the dog pound, and are they euthanize Vixen? Where are we going with this?
Well, I don't know, but, the mayor won't let Vixen go unless it snows in Southtown. It's super weird. It's very weird.
But it gets us back to Heat Miser and Snow Miser and Mother Nature and her getting her kids mixed up or their tasks, notwithstanding. That makes so much more sense than anything going on in Southtown. The idea of going to a parent and saying, hey, your kids are being dicks. And then the parent going, you know what? I agree with you. Okay, you shape up. You shape up. No back talk. Proceed. That part I get. That's not, to me, that makes sense. Mistaking a reindeer for a dog, that does not make sense.
No, I have to say, other than the Heat Miser and Snow Miser, this one kind of falls apart a little bit for me. So they are those bright moments that you hope for in other things, like you were saying, like, is this the one with them in it? Because they make it really good. Without those guys, yeah, forget it. And I guess it kind of makes sense because they would go on, and I haven't ever seen this before, but they would go on to be in their own Christmas special that wasn't a Rankin and Bass. It was like, what was it, 2006 or
2008.
2008, okay. And then I never knew until looking stuff up yesterday that there was a live action version of this.
With John Goodman as Santa. I want to watch it so fucking bad.
I want to see Harvey Fierstein as the Heat Miser and Michael McKean as the Snow Miser.
Why have we not seen this? Where is this? How do we get this?
I mean, I'm sure it's on the internet. Also, by the way, Ethan Suplee and Eddie Griffin play Jingle and Jangle. And Chris Kattan.
Chris Kattan, yes.
And Carol Kane.
Mother Nature herself, yes.
You
get Dr. Laura that makes a small appearance in there as well. And this was directed by Ron Underwood, the man who gave us many great things, including Tremors.
Oh yeah, Ron Underwood's great. He's a great guy. I've worked with him. He's the real deal, and he's again a really super nice guy. I cannot believe I never knew this existed. Now I'm furious. We're gonna have to now, guys. I smell another episode.
Yeah, I think I did track down the animated special, so I can throw that out, and then so far I've only found Year Without a Santa Claus live action version dubbed in Russian. So that might be an experience.
It's John Goodman as Santa Claus as you've never seen him before. With a Russian accent. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised that they've done live action versions of this, or that they've continued on the thing that you were talking about before. The live action is A Miser Brothers Christmas, which actually has Mickey Rooney return as Santa Claus and George Irving as the Heat Miser. Those characters clearly made an impact in a story that, unfortunately, is just not that impactful otherwise. Like, those characters are iconic, and they should be in Rudolph. They shouldn't be here. Like, I will stand by that statement 100%. Like, you really do hope and wish that those characters are in anything other than this kind of weird story about Santa having a cold and taking a year off.
I hate to be the person to call out the writer of these things, but what's interesting is that the better ones are written by Romeo Muller. And not that there's really anything terrible about The Year Without a Santa Claus, but it's not written by Romeo Muller. It's written by William Keenan, and it's got some nice stuff in it, but it doesn't. I don't know. I think Romeo's work in the best ones, he is better at kind of locking into theme and locking into legitimate emotion that is connected to the holiday. That feels like, oh, this is a real Christmas special.
I mean, and I can see why they made this into a feature film, because there is almost too much stuff going on in one, 45-minute thing? Stretch that to an hour with commercials? Because there's too much stuff happening.
It's 51 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, it's too long.
It's too long by about 40 minutes.
Yeah, too long to handle all of the things that they are trying to do with this. Because there's really no breathing room.
No, there's not. And that's the problem for me. Is it just they try to do way too much.
In writers' rooms, we call that it's just got a lot of moves. First they go here, then they go there. Like, there's a problem in your story where it's like, well, then they got to go interview the owner of the liquor store, but then that guy leads them to the special lab where they get the thing. And it's like, whoa, we got 9 scenes and nothing's happening.
Right.
We're making a lot of moves, and I think this is this suffers from that.
So, Chris, what is going on in your world these days?
Oh, not a whole lot. You can follow me on Twitter, casualty_Chris, and you can find the other movie podcasts that I do at culturecast.com and on Twitter at culturecast. What about you, Mike?
You can find me over at the Projection Booth Podcast, which is ironically enough over at projectionboothpodcast.com. And Richard, how about you? What's going on in your world?
I am writing and producing episodes of DC Titans, and it's now premiering on HBO Max. You can get seasons 1 and season 2 in their entirety. And season 3, the new season, will drop in July of 2021.
Hey, Richard, fuck Batman.
Oh, if you think we don't drag that joke up and down the staircase in season 3, well, you've got another thing coming.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. We will be back with another episode all about the adventures of the Little Drummer Boy and Nestor the Christmas Donkey.